Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago with Elder Nagab, also from the Great Millstone, Chicago.
Shalom, shalom.
And first and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors into our apostles and elders. Salutations to all our fellow laborers doing this work. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, a subject that he and I both like to go into, and to the Akwath that are listening and learning. To you, we say shalom. And this is, and I just was blessed to run into this brother, and and we have time to sit down, break bread, and be brotherly and do this lesson. I also ran into another brother before him, so the Lord has truly been blessing me this day. These brothers made my day. But I took a few screenshots from a book that was written by Rabbi Joseph Kroskov. It's called "The Jews and the Moors in Spain," and it's written. It was written about the 1600 time period. When before the of the Jews and the Moors, as they were being scattered around Spain and the different things that were going on at that time, because we know that they lost control over Spain in 1492 when the Moors fell. All right, so I just want to read a couple things from the book. And first, could you grab Job 30 and 30?
Job 30 and 30. My skin is black upon me, my bones are burned with heat.
Right. So when you read that, that's talking about the skin complexion of Job, the skin complexion of the Israelites. Also in the book of Job too, it gives you an account of the history when Esau fell, and when he went, when Rome fell, and when dark races, mainly Jacob, took over Europe for that 1,000-year period until 1492. All right, and so this book kind of touches on some of that history. So this is the time frame that we're talking about. And then when Spain and Portugal fell, they still had to get rid of, Jake was still ruling in different parts of Europe at that time. All right, and there's so many relics that were left over there to prove what we're saying. It's not even worth arguing about. All right. Just because they tried to sweep something under the rug, we're in the information age now, right? You can't hide those things anymore. All right, we're in the information age. If you could, brother, grab Jeremiah 14 and 2, and then I'm gonna start reading some of these inserts from the book, some of these screenshots that I took.
Jeremiah 14 and 2.
Baba shot.
All right, Jeremiah chapter 14 and 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. All right, what they tell you in the beginning how Judah was already doing, they mourning, right? They mourning what they come to a low state. The gates thereof languish, the lack of leadership is languishing, man. Today, man, you had the Jesse Jackson who got infected with the cuckoos after taking their search. All right. These people, they're not teaching the Bible among the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American preachers, pastors, and deacons. They're not teaching the scriptures correctly.
They teaching that love doctrine.
Right, and love doctrine.
Which is complete and unbalanced.
Right.
The Lord is about balance.
And then you had these celebrities who people look up to, at least people look up to, like Roland Martin. Roland Martin constantly trying to press the cuckoo insertions upon people.
Selling science over the Lord.
Yep.
And not real science, false science.
Yeah.
All right, because there's a difference. The science is being pushed. Right. Is the science. It's not real science. That's what they say. The science.
Yeah,
you don't believe the science? Right. No, we believe science, not the science.
And they don't believe in the Most High, because they did, they would be doing the things.
They don't have no fear, but they will shortly.
Yeah, it says they are black onto the ground. All right, and you go into the Hebrew, it's what kadar, which is describing a skin complexion.
That there are a black, a so-called Negroid type people.
Right.
All right. So it's talking about skin complexion.
Right.
So for people, because I remember hearing No Class Malone or Heyman Malone say that was referring to the Gates. The Gates were black. It's like,
so it's a bunch of Looney Tune cartoon black Gates crying.
Bunch of black Gates crying, exactly.
Right, cartoon Gates crying.
Exactly. But here we go. This is the first screenshot that I took from the book, and I'm just going to read it. And it says, the racial status of the Jews. There are some medieval Jewish expressions to affect the Jews were seen in Europe as black and ugly, keeping in mind that the blackness or whiteness is always a relative matter. Indeed, the metaphysical reading one text gave a color scheme reflects polemical, never seen that word, usages. Such physical theories acquired, perhaps always had, 13th century text polemics by R. Yosef, by Nathan Osfico, a guide for disputing Christians, probably written for Jews disputing Christians, probably written early 14th century German lands, contain nearly identical answers to charge Jewish ugliness and blackness. So there you go. So they were calling us, they were calling the Southern Kingdom black and ugly. That's what the Jews were referred to it in the 14th century, according to the writer of the book Jews and the Moors in Spain, Rabbi Joseph Kruskoff, or Kroskoff.
Like Biggie Smalls, black and ugly forever.
Right. He said he was black and ugly, but still, got coochie or some shit. He said.
Yeah.
Right, and that's also those white superiority doctrines creeping in, trying to refer being of color, being of unattractiveness.
Right.
All right. The heretics, Christians ask and say, why are the majority Gentiles, Christians, white and attractive, while the majority of Jews are black and ugly? You hear that? This is coming from a rabbi, man.
Right.
All right. It says, reply to them is comparable to fruit. When it begins to blossom, it is white. After it is finished, it turns black. And wow. Right? You heard the term, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Right.
Right. It says, as in sloes and plums, at every fruit that is red to begin with, when it is done, is white with apples and pears or apricots. And the testimony for Israel is that are as pure of menstrual blood, and there is. And now the screenshot kind of. Yeah, no, it's another screenshot, so I didn't get to finish that one.
Oh,
you got another scripture you want to bring out before I continue?
Yeah. Matter of fact,
because these were random screenshots that I took of it.
Okay, yes. 2 Kings 18:84 is the name. It said, he removed the high places and break the images and cut down the groves and break in pieces the brass and serpent that Moses had made. I didn't mean to get this, but anyway, that's how it came out. It said, for unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it. He called it Nehushtan, which means brass. All right. Now here in Chicago, you go to what they call the Lowe's. It's called Bronzeville.
Right.
All right. If brass is like it's a combination. I forgot the metal. It's a combination of brass. Bronze is a combination of brass and another type of metal, man.
Right. And there's some versions of the Bible which refer to the Lord with skin being bronze.
Right.
All right. So bronze and brass are both derivatives of brown.
Right.
At the end of the day. But here's the next insert that from the page, and it says, early modern non-Jews in Western Europe also appear to be confused or ambient about the color status of the Jews, and I'll tell you why. Because you had those you had people who converted to Judaism, white people converted, and then you actually had the real Jews, the converso Jews, the crypto Jews, and the Moors, who were all Israelites, and then you had a group of Caucasians referred to the Khazars, who were also saying that they were Jewish. That's where that confusion comes from. And the same thing happened in Rome. You got to remember, before Rome, right around the beginning of Rome, when Rome was very young, as the Grecians were losing power and the Romans were coming into power, you had John Hyrcanus, who forced a bunch of Israelites, a bunch of Edomites, to conform to the way of following the Torah, and they became like the first sect of Jewish people. The ish meaning to be like or pertaining to. Okay, so let's get that corrected. Get that right. But it reads, the English Sir William Brereton visited one of the Sephardic synagogues in Amsterdam in 1635 and wrote that the Jewish men were most black and insatiably given unto women. That sounds like Jake.
Yeah.
All right. In 1643, Isaac de la Perrière contended that once the Jews convert to Christianity, they will no longer have dark complexion. You see that? So there was so much evidence that were written in these books in the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th century. All right. And why is this information left out of educational studies today? You know, it says they will, and this sounds like the what do they call them, guys? The Book of Mormon, the Mormons, the Book of Mormon's doctrine. It says they will change faces. The whiteness of their complexion will have the same brightness as, and the Englishmen, right? And the actual English were black too. The real ones. Yeah. Okay? John, wow, these Edomites can't win, man. John Greenhalgh visited the Jews' synagogue in London and wrote a friend about 1662, describing the chief ruler, probably the president of Parvasan, a very rich and black, fierce and stern man. At the letter's end, Greenhalgh reiterated with intergraphic precision that the 100 or so Jews he saw at the synagogue, all generally black, as so they were distinguished from Spaniards or native Greeks, for the Jews have a deeper tincture or more perfect raven black. So they were really, really dark, like Hamites, man. All right, this particular, and they even said, and there's an insert I think I wrote that said the same thing about the gypsies, which you've talked about. Right. The gypsies, you brought out the evidence is that the gypsies were also Israelites. They were so-called black people. You got another scripture?
Yes, sir. Going on with how dark you just described in that book, Psalm 71, the Shinagana of David, which he sung unto Yahweh, concerning the words of Cush, the Benjamite. Now, why would they have Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin named Cush? Because he had the dark attributes of a certain nation, the Cushites, which are the Ethiopians. All right, so Cush is identified being what? Dark skin.
God.
All right.
It says here on this insert, in 1690, the Reverend Robert Kirk of Alberfoyle visited the same Greekage Church Alley synagogue, ending his depiction of worship, which was a most identical ethnographic pronunciation. They were all very black men and indistinct in their reasoning as gypsies. Wow. Yeah. Similar portrayals continued in the 18th century and later. William Black, secretary or commissioner, appointed the governor William Gooch of Virginia to deal with the Indians, described Hester Levy, a daughter of the wealthiest and best known New York Jew, Moses Levy, whom he met in June 1744, very well made her complexion black, but very comely. So meaning she was black but beautiful. Beautiful. That's where they get that right out of Solomon, and that's where Black James Brown got it from. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
She was so like a chocolate sister.
She was She was a Jewish, and she was chocolate. And he said she was comely. She had two charming eyes and well turned with the beautiful head of hair, coal black. I just saw a girl like that on the train before I ran into you. Mm-hmm. And she was wearing a Jake sister. She was like a chocolate brown, really attractive, right, with jet black, jet brown, really dark hair, and wearing a black dress.
Another example is, remember New Jack City? Remember the prosecutor named Miss Hawkins?
Yes.
That Nino Ray said, now that woman right there, she's a little bit dark, but she's nice and comely, man. Her skin is beautiful, it's shiny and stuff. And she's an attractive woman. That's another good example. And I just want to say one thing. In Psalm 71, talking about Cush the Benjamite, Cush is what? The son of Ham. It said, you look in the Bible dictionary, I'm just saying, why would the Israelites name their son after a people who have dark attributes? Because they was a dark-skinned people. It says in the Bible, it said Ham, the progenitor of the dark races. It said the Egyptians, the Cushites, the Libyans, the Canaanites, etc. It says not the Negroes. All right, so there's like couple who named their son Cush. What happened? Because his son was dark skinned, just like the so-called Ethiopians. Who correctly is Cush, and correctly it's Kawash, but in English is Cush. All right, what do Israelis call the so-called Negro? Cushy. Cushy. You know, so yeah.
Here's another insert. It says, "'Tis also the vulgar error that the Jews are all black, for this is only true of the Portuguese, who marry always among one another, beget children like themselves, and consequently the swarthiness." King James and the Scots were referred to as swarthy hordes of Scots. All right, swarthy is another word for black. You know, cushy, swarthy, swartz. Right. It said the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon their whole race, even the northern regions. But the Jews who are originally of Germany, those, for example, I've seen in Prague, are blacker than the rest of their countrymen. So there it is, man. So what he's saying, that the people in Prague, because Prague is full of mostly Edomites today, there's some Jake there, but what he's telling you, that the Jews there, the German Jews that were there, were super dark, black.
Swartzy.
Right.
Said in order to be a real Jew, you have to be a Swartzy man.
And we've all seen the Moenberg Moor.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That Lowenbrow.
Right.
That was they had Moors that came from there. And you still have soccer teams where they wear the head of those Moors in that big afro on their t-shirts. All right.
You have in Europe some type of event where they'll paint themselves. Esau paint himself a black paint and have a curly hair wig and some red lips. Why? Because the Moors and the Moreno Jews, or the Moorish Jews, were a dark-skinned people. Right.
This is and then it says, toward the latter end of the 18th century, one finds the same changeability of the Jews expressed in updated nuances, geographic context. The Reverend Samuel Stanhope Smith wrote, "The Jews are fair in Britain and Germany, brown in France and in Turkey, swarthy in Portugal and Spain, olive in Syria and Chaldea." Olives are black, all right? They weren't green. There's two. You got those dark purple-looking olives that are like a purple-black looking, and then you got green olives. So we know that they weren't green people.
And I got a scripture for that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. 2 Kings 24:8. This is original to bring out. Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign. He reigned in Jerusalem 3 months, and his mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elkanah of Jerusalem. Now, what Nehushta means in Hebrew, look up in the Blue Letter Bible. All right. It's Nakashta, which means copper. Nakashta is Israelitis. Nehushta, right? So it means copper, man. Right. It's copper. Then it's right here. Then it said the head outline of biblical use, it equals brass. All right. Then the Sean Brown Ritz lexicon. Okay, that's all they're gonna show me. So yeah. So basically, brass or copper.
So there it is, man. So what's written in the scriptures, and he's going into the Blue Letter to break down the meaning of these words that are referring to skin color. Yeah, it's clear they're clearly referring to skin color.
Right.
But I'm gonna bring out this last one. We're gonna wrap it up. This is Lamentations 4:8, one of my favorites. It's straight to the point, and it says, "Their visage," meaning when you look upon them, all right, their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Why? Because they're called blacks. They're called Negro and niggers and all these other bywords, African. Okay? They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. So, once again, just wanted to bring out how the writings from the book, The Jews and Moors in Spain by Rabbi Joseph Kroskopf, was basically is lining up with the physical attributes that the Bible speaks of when it comes to the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So with that, we're gonna give all praises, going honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakam Kadash, Wa Abba Babal. Shalom.